Hire not for a job, hire for aptitude and attitude. No, I'm an electrical engineer. We were joking. We said, what kind of a stupid company is this? We are talking about software. Why would you interview a musician? And then obviously there is charisma of Narayan Murthy. Infosys make it look sexy. Infosys made programming as a glamorous thing. We have tools to hone them and mold them to suit our needs. We don't know our needs. Needs will emerge. So when we join Infosys, meaning first 3 months, there is no job. First 3 months is education. I sense or I smell something, I better be prepared.
Pillutla, tell me, it's very interesting. You were talking about Infosys. I'm quite curious. Why did you apply? Are you a computer science engineer?
No, I'm an electrical engineer, but
Right.
Infosys at that time was there is an urge to programming, meaning we all through engineering we learn programming, right? So Infosys
Okay.
Patni systems, the history of Infosys you all know probably Pune Patni systems, etc. This is the company that gave glamour to programming, in my opinion. How many people
Right.
really like programming back in the day? I mean, we did it grudgingly. At least I did it very, very grudgingly. Fortran, Pascal, bloody couldn't even understand. I still remember we were
Yeah.
supposed to write we had given an algorithm, Gauss-Seidel algorithm, and then we had to write a Fortran program on that. Oh my goodness. Didn't even understand what we were doing, right? But then Infosys made make it look sexy. Infosys made programming as a glamorous thing, right? And again, this is surprisingly 30 years ago. And then obviously there is charisma of Narayan Murthy, right? And the company was in news. It was probably the fan company of those days, right? So there were multiple factors, Viglani. Infosys, very, very similar concept. Hire not for a job, hire for aptitude and attitude. They were hiring through a series of an entrance exam and an interview. Today, there are a couple of companies who are starting. One is Palantir. I actually know Palantir. They don't hire through interviews anymore. They call people, it's a day long boot camp. You bloody code in front of the folks. That's it. Your code is your persona. There is no resume, etc. This is what Infosys started in 30 years ago. You go through an exam and they cut across every skill. When I joined Infosys in 1998, 2 years before I am Bangalore, right? They were musicians, they were doctors, they were biomechanical engineers, they were Bachelor of Commerce people coming in and competing with us. And we were joking. We said, what kind of a stupid company is this? We are talking about software. Why would you interview a musician? Hindsight, it becomes very commonsensical, right? Talent is one, it's just how you shape it. When I joined Infosys, at that point, there is no JD. They said, we need people. We have tools to hone them and mold them to suit our needs. We don't know our needs. Needs will emerge. But today, I don't see much of a recruitment happening without the need being identified. It's once the need comes, then where is the supply? That's where it is going. They had bandwidth to dedicate certain resources outside of the transactional needs. I think that to me is the bigger thing. Meaning, why can Infosys do this? Because it's almost like existential problem for them. By the way, when we joined Infosys, a similar story transpired. Meaning, first 3 months there is no job. First 3 months is education. In the 4 months, I think hardcore education. We practically spent as much time, let's say, as close to 12 to 16 hours a day of instruction. So again, we are all joined. All these people from a variety of backgrounds. We all joined Kionics, Kerala Electronic City. That's where the education is. First campus, 8 to 5 is study. Then there is project work. Then you go to bed, and there is a bus that carts us back and forth to our rooms, vagera. 3 months, and then later I got to know the 3 month of instruction that we were given is not just software but computer programming or computer science or whatever, which is equivalent to BS in computers by US standards. The labor department in US has to approve that curriculum, etc., so that once these people are trained, coached, etc., these can work on US projects. So it's not the bragging right saying Infosys training program is state of the art. There is a material reason why Infosys training program was like that. So this is also going back to saying, why did Infosys invest in us? Because an existential problem combined with the genius of these people are back in those days. Meaning,
No, and
I
I think
won't.
one factor we have to look at is that the cost differential was like they were paying
Huge.
you 10% or maybe even
Correct.
5% of what they were billing you out
Correct.
for. So they could
Correct.
afford to do that. Like they could
Correct.
afford to train magicians into computer scientists,
Yeah.
BS in computer science, because they were paying them 10,000 and they were probably billing them out for 5 lakhs at that time.
And
Like that was the huge difference.
that to me is the visionary thing, meaning this Nandan Nilekani or whoever this Infosys stalwarts are, right? Meaning they took that gamble, meaning that there was no business that is assured. And this was fortunately during those Y2K days, etc. So there's a lot of Y2K projects, but the point is that gave them a foothold into US, let's say IT sector, so to say. What they did is a very, very sticky skill that kind of spread. And it built a little bit of also when I joined, I'm not lost in an ocean. There is a little ecosystem we got created, and we were these 24. We were our ecosystem. I had a shoulder to fall on, etc. What's the term these big management companies use? It's like grow up or get up or get out, that kind of stuff. So either you perform and you grow, or you get out. So you're clearing room for others to join in. At the same time, you are compelled to perform. What I probably have to insist is it is not a project or an engagement that is given towards which the people are getting trained. It's almost like one influencing the other. I sense or I smell something, I better be prepared. I think that was a genius back in the day.